bring in John Schneider. He is the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. John, thanks. Look at that. Look at the background there. Blue sky in San Diego.
I'm a little under the weather. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. Shai told us it's cold there today, that I believe it got down to 15 or it's at 15 Celsius.
Cold.
Yeah.
Cold. Yeah. It's beautiful here every day.
Matt Waldron, how much of I'm not going to say concern, but the fact that the dude throws a knuckleballer, and I think until he threw a knuckleballer last year, we hadn't seen anybody throw it in the majors in like 2 years. How do you approach this game if you're a hitter?
Yeah, I mean it's a little different, obviously, with that pitch. But I think you have to approach it the same way we've been approaching everyone the last couple games, especially at home. It's all about getting a good pitch, getting it in the zone, and trying to put a good swing on it. So no matter what the pitch is, it's about getting it in the zone and trying to do some damage. I hate using that word, damage, but trying to put a good swing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really no different than anyone else.
John, have you liked the way your lineup 1 through 9 is looking? Obviously Daulton Varsho, we'll talk about him a little bit later, but just as a whole, 1 through 9, not everybody's the same. Do you like the way, their at-bats are going? They compete. I think that's the one thing you can take away from every single one of their at-bats is they're not an easy out here lately. Do you like what you're seeing so far?
Yeah, I do. We've been saying it since spring training to where, it's going to be a collective approach, but everyone's going to be a little bit different in how they go about it. And I think that right now, we're not only seeing a lot of pitches, we're getting the big hits. And I like the way it's kind of rolling out right now from 1 through 9. Everyone's kind of doing their part and not trying to do too much. So hopefully we can kind of continue to, roll that out on this road trip.
Yeah, John, they don't hit a bunch of home runs, as you well know. Is that a worry for you as a manager? Do you have to try and manage different? I know in the last 7 games you're stealing more bases. You're at 4th in baseball and stolen bases with 6. Like, you can tell you're making an effort just because, sometimes, especially at home, maybe the ball's not carrying. Maybe certain guys are just not, squaring up baseballs. I think you're 22nd in total bases. You're 22nd in at-bats between homers at 38. Like, that's a pretty big number. Is that a worry for you guys? Do you think it's just early and guys are going to get better at that, and the guys that are supposed to hit homers will start hitting them?
Yeah, it's not a worry, but I don't by any stretch of the imagination right now. It's you hate saying it's early. You got some games underneath you, under your belt, but I think that the guys that are going to hit homers are going to hit homers. Now, are we going to break any league records in home runs? No, I don't think so. Not at this rate. But I think guys that are going to hit homers are going to hit their homers. So it's not concerning. You know what I mean? I think guys understand how we're built to win games. And but at the same time, we still want guys to be dangerous. We still want guys to, understand where there's times to try to, hit the ball with authority. There's times to try to move a guy over. But no, we're not worried about it. Guys that are going to hit them, they're going to hit them. And again, whether it's at home or on the road, I don't really think it has that much of a difference.
John, for a manager, when your team's not hitting homers, especially the first 4 guys, and the expectations for those first 4 guys are to hit quite a few home runs when they're not, is it hard for you to stay out of it? And what I mean by that is, Vladdy with runners in scoring position is not real good. He's getting a lot of chances because of what the bottom order's doing and what the first guy's doing. They're getting on base. They're giving him chances, and at bats with runners in scoring position, he hasn't been real good at that. But Justin Turner has. Right? Is it very hard this time of the season? Because I hate saying the word early. Like, they're professionals. They understand what they are supposed to do and, what they should be doing this time of the year. But is it hard for you as the managers to stay out of that and go, they are what they are in the positions they're hitting in, and they will take off, and we're going to go as far as they take us?
Yeah, we're talking about, when you look at the top 4 of our lineup, you're talking about George, Vlad, Bo, and JT. You're talking about really good hitters.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a matter of time. If we can get Vlad or JT or Bo up with runners on base multiple times a game, odds are we're gonna do pretty good. So I think it's it's just a matter of time, really, before they all kind of start clicking. And it, like you said, it is early. It is early. I don't like that either, but I mean, we're talking about really good hitters, man. And, it's just a matter of time before they start getting those hits.
Yeah. John,
They've gotten him, but I mean consistently.
Absolutely.
Right. Have you heard anything on Chad Green? Will there be any further examination needed, and what are the possibilities that we may see another pitcher with the team in San Diego, just in case?
He was better yesterday throwing at the field, and we'll see how he is today. There's no plans for any other testing or anything like that right now. So we'll see how he kind of is after he gets to the ballpark and plays catch, and kind of go from there. But no one else is scheduled to meet us. Hoping for the best news out of Chad today, and he's ready to roll.
Yeah, before we start moving on with the pitching, I want to sort of clean up the hitting. And there is a guy that's raking, like Daulton Varsho looks like. I think his pace is really good, John. Like it doesn't look robotic. I don't know about what you're seeing, but I used to be one of those robotic guys. You work so hard off the field, you're trying to make sure it translates on the field, and you just want to make sure that every part is where it was when I was off the field and the ball was ending up where, you ultimately wanted to end up. What are you seeing from him? What do you like from him? And any chance, because of the way he's hitting, you might move him into that 5 spot again and sort of let him help out when it comes to runners in scoring position, those kind of things?
Yeah, for sure. Var, you kind of hit the nail on the head, Kev. I mean, he's moving very efficiently. He's giving himself time to do some really good things with his swing. Something he's been working on for a long time, off-season, spring training now. Him and G and Donnie in particular have been really working on that. And like you said, it's not robotic. He's moving very well. This is kind of what Daulton can do. And I think that, we understand that. And, it's really starting to show. He hits the ball extremely hard. And he had a really good homestand. He had a good handful of games. And people kind of forget that he had a really good spring training, too, doing this. And then you get off to a slow start and 15 at bats. And everyone says what happened. But this is kind of what Varsho's been doing. And thrilled that he's getting the results right now. So the second part of your question, yeah, he's hitting 5th tonight.
Nice. Glad I asked.
Do we have what are the plans for Yariel tonight? Will they be any different than his first start?
I don't think so. It'll be roughly the same. We're going to try to continue to build him up, but without getting him into 100 pitches, that kind of thing. So when you talk about pitch count, yeah, it'll be a little bit more. But we'll just see how he is. We'll see how he's going. What his stuff is doing and how he's responding to this lineup. It's a good lineup here, and kind of react accordingly. But the fact that he has a few more pitches to work with in terms of pitch count tonight is a good thing.
Yeah, John, I asked around about him, with Petey and stuff about the arm angles and those kind of things. And you look at what he did there, the 3 2/3 inning, the 68 pitches. I'm assuming that, if you're wanting to dig into anything, I know he threw strike one 69% of the time. That's really good. League average is right around 61%. So if you're doing anything above that with the stuff that he has, with the multitude of pitches that he has. But is there anything that's sort of refining start to start, right? If he's got 70 pitches, you'd love to see that 70 pitches go further than 3 2/3. Is there anything one specific thing that you're looking for, whether it's the timing of that slow little leg kick or the arm angles or maybe where the catcher sets up? Is there sort of any one little thing that you may see or like to see further, which would make him better?
Yeah, I mean, good question. It's not one specific thing. He's got great stuff. I think right now we're still in the process of him figuring out what his stuff does, in relation to one another, his pitches, so I think it's just about kind of how he deploys them. You hate saying it like that, but I mean, he's got good stuff. It's not anything really. It's just about how can I maybe, mix these pitches together a little bit more efficiently and get a little bit deeper into games. That's kind of what we're talking to him about. But it has nothing to do with stuff or action on the stuff. We're really excited about what he has and what he can do. So just trying to really stay on the attack and try to get it done a little bit quicker.
John, with Jordan Romano, is there anything you'd like to see from him or hear from him that would give you confidence in him that would allow you to use him back-to-back days?
Yeah, I think just where we are now in relation to where he was, just a few days ago. I think that this was kind of part of the plan. With him and with Swanee, to where you get him into a game against New York off day and then kind of have him ready to roll. But in talking to Jordan and talking to Eric, they're ready for it. Would have loved if one of them was available or one more was available on Wednesday at home. But they're ready for it, and they knew this is part of the process. So don't need to hear anything else from them.
Last question before he lets you run. Alek Manoah is going to start at AAA. What are the expectations for him? And John, if it goes according to Hoyle, what would be the next step for Alek?
Yeah, I mean, expectations for him are just we want him to be effective and efficient, and that sounds very broad, but that's exactly what we told him before he left. And he knows what that looks like. We know what that looks like. It's just, we want to see 80 pitches in the 6th inning as opposed to the 4th or 5th. We want to see his stuff in the zone and attacking hitters. So that's kind of what his stuff is back. His stuff is there, and I think him using it appropriately is the next step, and that leads to the efficiency. And then after this one, it's kind of wait and see, wait and see where we are, wait and see where he is. Performance is part of it right now for Alek. He knows that, and kind of make another decision in a few days, so, that's kind of it. It's very open-ended, and excited to see what he does tonight.
John, last one. Honestly, before we let you go, with Eric Swanson, you mentioned Eric Swanson, and sometimes I think people, because he's not a super hard thrower, really don't know what you're looking for as a fan, or say as an ex-catcher like you are, or his manager or his pitching coach. Sort of, I think the question is, how do you know when he's good? And how will you know that inning to use him in when, there's some unpredictability there? I think is there a certain thing that will tell you that he has got his great stuff and you can throw him no matter where you're at in an order?
Yeah. Well, for one, we, in a perfect world, he's not pitching the 9th inning on Wednesday. It'd be Yimmy or it would be Chad or Jordy if they were available. But I think when he's good, and it's hard, you see the velo, it's 93, 94, hides the ball really well. It's coming from a really weird angle with Swanee, and you put that heater with a split that's basically in the zone. It's really, really tough to adjust as a hitter. So different than Gausman's split. Gauss is more of a chase, but I think with Swanee, he's throwing it in the zone. And it's tough to adjust when that thing is going this way and his heater is going that way. And it's just, very, very deceptive. So that's when we know he's good. His track record speaks for itself. His trust level is way high for me, for Pete, for us. So it's about putting him in the right spots. And, we're confident he's going to get the job done.
Nice.
Is that a battleship behind you?
It is. Kind of cool, right?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
That's
No,
awesome.
I was noticing it over your. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cruise ship, battleship.
There
Wow.
you go. Well,
That place
there's
is
a
beautiful.
There's a ship beside you, John. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much for this, man. Be well and rest the voice.
Yeah. Good luck. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, sorry about the voice. Thank you, guys. Good catching up. Talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Travel safely.
Bye.